It's all good with me, man. It's all good with me.
Colt. So is that where you're from?
Indianapolis, Indiana, born and raised.
Born and raised.
Yeah, so you always usually see me with a Colts hat or a Pacers hat. I got all kind of different color Pacer hats and stuff like that. So yeah, so that's a lot of people around here know, like, okay, that's where he's from. Plus my car still has Indiana tags, But I've been in a little trouble for that. But you know how that goes.
You ever get mistaken for being a boy in a Colt? Same colors, same team, or
actually no, and that's actually kind of weird. I've never got that. As much as I wear this and I wear those colors and stuff like that, I think a lot of people just know he's from out of town, and they can tell by the way I operate and things like that. Even though it's a small city, everybody knows everybody. So yeah. So
see, with the Pacers, the whole every Indiana sport there is.
Well, I'm not a big college fan, but Pacers are my favorite team, of course. And if you're from Indy, you got to bleed blue when it comes to Colts. I mean, you could not like them, but you're still going to support them. Like that's just how it is,
How'd you get to Arizona or even down here, Sierra Vista?
A crazy story. Lived in Indiana all my life. Needed to make a change. I was GM certified. I used to work for Cadillac, automotive technician. I pretty much can do anything to a car. But I've always done music and always loved music. So I always DJed plus did my regular job. So it came to a point where I was within the company and I was like, well, I'm young enough. Either I'm going to stay with the company or I'm going to try to step out on my own. And I was like, you know what? I'll step out on my own. So long story short, I moved to Texas. It didn't work out. But in that case, basically what happened was I had a decision to make. It was 17 hours back home or 17 hours this way. Mm-hmm. Well, the people I was living with, that I was roommates with in Indianapolis, were living out here. So they had told me, come out here anyway. And I was like, no, I'm going to go try this. I still end up here. And coming here was probably one of the best decisions I ever made. A lot of people say, well, why would you choose Sierra Vista? Well, I've lived in a big city all my life. This small city stuff is great. I love it. I mean, it's very calm. It's quiet. So yeah, I kind of ended up here on I wouldn't say bad terms, but everything worked out for what was supposed to work out for. And I was here 4 days, and I've been working nonstop since I got here.
And that was when? When did you get here? You said last year?
What, about 3 years ago?
3 years ago.
2-3 years ago? So I don't even remember. Because I'm usually gone 6 months at a time. I work on cruise ships. I work for cruise ships.
Yeah, Calvin mentioned that. Well, first of all, how'd you get it? Were you DJing back in Indianapolis? Or
Yeah, I was DJing back in Indianapolis, but it's a lot tougher there. And what I mean by tougher, I don't want to down talk any other DJs, but there's a lot of DJs that do what we call undercutting, and the only way I was getting booked was through the club owners and certain promoters, because a lot of promoters will say, well, I'll go with this DJ because he's $300 cheaper than what you are. But the club owners would book me if they were doing the booking because they knew what I was worth, things like that. So there's so many, with the digital age, there's so many DJs. I mean, so many, especially in the Midwest, because we're all so compact. Mm-hmm. I mean, which I was well known in the Midwest. I received an award for Midwest Legend in 2011. So, I mean, I was well known, and I built my brand and built myself up. And I could walk into a music conference and not even be on the ballot to speak, and they were coming to, hey, can you speak? I'm like, yeah, I'll speak. So I would end up getting up there speaking to the artists and other DJs and things like that. So it just, like, indie is great, but I think there's more support for the DJ on the West Coast, out west, because even when I went to Texas, it was better. They respect the craft a lot more, where it's so digitalized and anybody can be a DJ nowadays. Yeah. They just book anybody. But on that note, being a DJ, I tell a lot of DJs, and they don't get it. It took me a while to get it, but with this age and with the way things move, if you're just a DJ, you're not going to make it. You have to be doing something other than just DJing, or you have to be already a big name DJ that's being booked in Vegas and places like that.
What are some of those other things, like mixing records, or what do you?
Well, I do music production. I also do these T-shirts. DJ Life Clothing is my clothing line. I do custom T-shirts. All the Mandalay shirts that you see that say 85650, I did all those. I do all of their shirts. So I do custom T-shirts. I do my clothing line, which was an accident. And I also do music production. I've gotten into gotten heavily into recently, and one of I kind of got a submission working right now with a reality show that's possibly might take off. So
Jeez.
yeah, so things are coming together really really well and kind of fast. And then I also DJ on a cruise ship, so that's constant money.
What's that like? I mean, is that as great as it sounds, or
At times, yes. It's all about what you put into it, because each cruise is different because you have a different set of people. So you may be used to doing this style, and then you get a different crowd, and you got to adjust yourself. So it's a lot of work because we work 7 days a week nonstop, and it's a lot of work, especially for a DJ if you're the only DJ on the ship. Because now, if you're doing a long cruise, after 7 days, 6, 7 days, with the way that people are programming themselves, with the way they listen to music, they want to hear the same thing over and over again. So it begins to get repetitive. So you have to find ways to energize or do something different, or bring something that they haven't seen or something. So it's almost like when you're DJing on a cruise ship, it's amazing, don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But it's almost like you're acting at the same time. And it took me a while to get that, because at first I'm like, oh, what is wrong with these people? And they're like, you just do your routine. I'm like, that's not how I'm used to DJing. And they're like, just do what you do and just change it up. And I had to learn. Once I learned how a cruise operates and how everything operates, how different people are, you get in a flow and how to do things. There's going to be certain stuff you're going to play over and over again. But the hardest thing with being at sea is getting new music. So when you do get it, you get abundance of it, because you'll wait a month or two and you're okay, I need to sit down. The good thing about like overseas is there's internet cafes. When you get to the U.S. ports, you don't have internet cafes. Like you'll go to an internet cafe, pay $5 for all day. You can sit there and download. So, but it's amazing.
What are some of the destinations you've pulled in?
I just came back from Australia. I did all of Australia, all of New Zealand. We did Fiji, Bora Bora, Tahiti, Alaska, some of Canada, Hawaii, some other islands I never heard of that were some of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. I've been to Bermuda, St. Lucia, some of the Caribbean, St. Martin. Where else? I done the east side of Canada, Quebec and Prince Edward Island and things like that. I mean, it's an amazing feeling waking up every day in a different country. I mean, working on a ship, and people get so scared to get on a ship. So scared.
Do they?
Oh my God! There's so many people. Oh, I ain't getting on no ship.
What are they afraid of? Sinking?
They think it's Titanic. They watch too much TV. So it's so safe. People don't understand how safe it is. And there's a study. They say that 90% of Americans don't even own a passport and will never leave the country. And I tell you what, if they would leave the country, things in this country would change.
See that perspective.
Yeah. When I came back after my first contract, I seen everything totally different.
What specifically? What was
just
that
how the world operates, the things that we complain about. I mean, the ship I just came off of there's 47 different nationalities on the ship for a crew. So you learn all these different cultures, all these different, how they grew up, how things are in their country. And you learn some of the money that they're making. And you and I would look at it and go, I would work for that. Not as hard as you're working. But in their country, it's big money. So, needless to say, I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it anyway, is entertainers are treated a lot better, because a lot of the cruise ships are about, I wouldn't say they're about it, but the big thing that keeps the cruise ship going and keeps the cruise company on top is the ratings. So, if the food's not very good, they're going to complain about it. If the ports aren't very good, they're going to complain about it. If the entertainment's not very good, they're going to write about it and complain about it. Like, it's amazing.
But you meet all those people from all those backgrounds. I mean, it sounds cliche, but you see it we're all one. We're all in this together.
Yeah, exactly.
All that stuff we're worrying about.
Exactly.
We meet people from everywhere.
I mean, I come home and I just look at things completely different, and it makes you think about stuff. It's like, oh, I want this. Do you really need it? Think about, it's like when I have a bad day. I used to have bad days to where it would kind of mess me up a little bit, and I would get down. But I came to a point to look at it like there's always somebody out there having it worse off than I am. Mm-hmm. So suck it up. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's pretty much what it is. But these other countries, I mean, just going to some of these other countries and seeing some of the stuff, it's like, wow. And the amazing thing on the ship is some of the most talented people aren't the entertainers. It's the other crew members. It will blow your mind, some of these people, but they can't get in a position to put themselves to where they can take that next step because of either their life back home or their family or their money situation or whatever. I've seen some singers, they will blow some people away from other countries. They will blow some of the cast away that were on the ship. And it was just like, wow.
What's your scene there? Do they kind of recreate a club atmosphere on the ship? What do you get into?
Each ship is different. My first ship that I was on, we didn't have a nightclub. We had a big venue. The band would play, and I would follow the band. So at midnight, I would start, and I'd go till 2, 3 in the morning or whatever, depending on what the crowd was. On the ship I just came off of was a much bigger ship. So that class of ship has a nightclub. So I had my own, it was like my own office, it was my own place. It was at a nightclub. I was there almost every night, but I also did stuff in like the Grand Foyer, in the other lounges. They would put me in different places because at one point there was 4 of us. There was 4 DJs. So they were able to really move us around, and it's fun. I mean, it's hard work. Don't get me wrong, but it is a blast. And we party like there's no tomorrow every single night.
That's pretty good.
And that's the thing, like downstairs up under the deck, a lot of guests don't know, but we have our own nightclub. We have our own bar. We have our own restaurant.
The employees do?
Oh, yeah. It's a whole nother city because there's only certain crew members are allowed upstairs, what they call deck privileges. And certain ones aren't. So they never come upstairs because they're not supposed to be, because it's not their area, this and that. So they have to have something to keep you sane because it's no matter what position you're in, it's very stressful. It's very hard. But you have to look at the bigger picture. These beautiful ports you're going to, all these places, you're traveling the world, you're getting paid. I love people. So meeting all these people from different countries and not only just the people I work with, but the guests and hearing people's stories and being able to tell mine and just, I have friends all over the world now and I love it. I can vacation anywhere I want.
When you get to a port, do you get to go out and see, or is that your downtime and you let the passengers do it?
Well, basically what happens is on a port day, you will have, sometimes you have duties. As a DJ, most of the time I don't. Most of the time, the whole time we're in port, I'm free to do whatever. So when we have long ports, I love it because I'm off all day. So it depends on your position and what you do and how your schedule is, because the schedule can change. Some people work at night, some people work during the day. So it depends on your schedule. Mm-hmm. And with me working till 2 or 3 in the morning, they usually don't schedule me till the evening anyway. So usually I'm off during the day. So so you go out in port, generally you go out with your bartenders or whoever you work closely with, and you guys go out and have a good time in port. And I mean, it's fun.
Do you sleep at all? If you're out all day and you're working till late in the morning.
Sometimes. I mean, it gets to the point where your body gets used to not sleeping. Like it got to the point where if I slept more than 6 hours, I would feel sick because my body was so used. Because the international law, they only have to give you 6 hours, But they give us more. They treat us good, but by law, they only have to give us so much time. And basically, if you're in a situation where you have to choose between eating and sleeping, you're gonna sleep. You'll eat later. Like it's the way
you get it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just you got to enjoy it. You got to take it, because my very first contract, my cruise director, he asked me one day. He goes, "What'd you do today?" I said, "I just sat in my cabin and slept." He said, "What?" I said, "Yeah, I was tired." He said, No. He goes, "You don't understand how this works." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He said, "You're gonna sleep it all away." I said, "Well, I don't understand," because I was only a month in or so I didn't know how the flow was. He goes, "Listen," he goes, "what's going to happen is every time you get time off or you're in a port, you're going to decide, oh, I'm going to take a nap. I'll go out next time and next time and next time." He goes, "then you're going to miss everything." So he's like, "Now you got homework." He goes, "Every port, you need to go out." He goes, "and when I asked you to tell me you went out in port, you did something or went somewhere."
That's nice homework.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, fair enough. So I got used to doing that, even if it was just going out, taking some video shots, taking pictures, or just getting away. Because the thing is, you get on a ship, especially like, it's funny because like we had 5 sea days in a row. After you have 5 sea days in a row, the crew scatters like no tomorrow, because you're cooped up on the ship. Because the hardest days for the crew is when you're at sea. When you're at port is the easy days because the guests are gone. So even if you're working, it's kind of chill and laid back. So every chance we get to leave, we're gone. We're gone. You don't have to ask no questions. I mean, you'll see a group of us going out. They're going, the guests are going, oh, wow.
You guys are. So how long are you in home now? I almost said in port, but
it just depends. Last time when I came home, I was only home 5 weeks because they needed me back early to another ship, and it was where I wanted to go, so I chose to go. Right now, I told them I wanted to take a little extra time off because now I have an agent, so I don't go through the agencies no more. My agent takes care of everything for me, and I'm thinking about switching companies. So I have to kind of wait a little bit, wait for that slot to open up. So I told him, I was like, well, I came home. It was funny because I came home and the company was contacting me saying, hey, can we fly? We want to fly you to Miami so you can get all the rest of your medicals done. Because each time you go to a different company, you have to have medicals that fit that company. Mm-hmm. So I have to get new medicals done, medical exam. They're very strict about that on ship. Like you have to be 100% clean. You have to be nothing in your background. Like they don't tolerate that. But so he calls me and he says, hey, I want to fly you to Miami on Sunday, put you in a hotel for a week and this and that. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm thinking, oh, okay, great. I was like, okay, so when do I come back? He goes, oh, you don't. He goes, we're going to send you out in a week. I was like, I just got home. I said, I can't do it. I just did a little over 6 months. I said, I need, until at least September, October. And he's like, okay. He goes, I understand. I've been on ships all my life too. He goes, so I understand. He goes, I just was giving you that option. I said, okay. But I'm kind of itching to go back a little bit, depending on where they're going to send me, because I want to go to Europe. If they give me a Europe tour, I'm gone. That's on my list. I can knock off Australia and New Zealand and all that. Like I did all that in one trip. And Alaska was pretty. Alaska is the only place I've ever been that looks exactly like it looks on TV. Is that right? I'm talking from everything. I mean, because you'll go to, they will show things about like Fiji and Bora Bora. They show you all the pretty stuff. They don't show you all the poverty and all the other stuff like that, But Alaska is exactly the same.
Just like the postcard.
Like the postcard. It's cold too. It's cold too.
How'd you get the Mandalay Gate? When did that all come together?
That actually came together because of my roommate that I was staying with, and he was doing stuff over there, and he had told Marco, which is one of the owners, about it and everything, and about me. So I got here, and he had hyped me up so much. I got here, all of a sudden I'm getting booked everywhere. I'm like, whoa! So I got in with over there, and me and Marco became great friends. I mean, we're best friends. I mean, that's family to me over there now. And I just kind of helped them with the marketing and promotion. I help them with marketing and promotion. We go out and shoot different stuff. I've been a guinea pig for their food tests, stuff like that. It's become a part of my life, actually, and to help build something and be a part of something and know that they appreciate you. There's no better feeling than that, and so it just was just working hard and him seeing how I work and not only just my talent, but seeing, okay, well, he does more than just DJ. He does the promotion. He does the marketing. He backs the business because a lot of DJs don't understand that it's a business and it's more to it, especially here in Sierra Vista because we're a smaller city. We don't have cover charges at the door and things like that. So the more money they make off of food and drinks and other sales and things like that, the more they're able to, the business is able to survive and thrive and also pay us and keep us in a steady flow and a steady gig.
And you get a reputation for working at a place like that.
Exactly. Because originally what kind of started it was by the time I got here, me and DJ Breck One, we were the only ones in the city that were doing video mixing. So it was a big thing when we got here. Nobody ever seen it. So they had put in a bunch of TVs over. I think he's got like 22 TVs now. So whenever I'm in there mixing, the video's on the screen. So, so that was our big seller, and that was our big thing when we came to the city. Like, okay, this is what we do. And it kind of separated us from the DJs that were already here, not to try to step on nobody, but you got to evolve with it. I'm good friends with a lot of the DJs that are around here that have been here a lot longer than I have,
How did you come up with the theme? Is it a 60s thing you do every Saturday? What's that about?
Well, the 60s deal, basically we were sitting around and I got to give Lay the credit for it because she kept saying she wanted to do a DJ on Saturdays. And I kept telling her, well, with the way the economy is and the way things are, I was like, I don't think it's beneficial for the business or for us because you can't pay us and it's not going to make you any more money. So me and Marco were sitting around one night. I was at his house and we were talking. And I said, you know what? I said, I got an idea. I said, let's do this. I was like, let's do your Saturday, but we'll do it since they close at 10 on Saturdays. I said, let's just do 7 to 10. He was like, okay, that will work because they're not saying open any later. It's not anything extra. And they said, okay, we'll do the promotion with the $7 flavored burgers, Lay's new burger. It's amazing. But so we'll do the promotion with that, and we'll just add, first I started out I did 60s one Saturday, then I did 70s, then I did Motown, and then I did 80s. Well, I started thinking, I was like, I think 60s is better for the market. Basically what we wanted to do, a lot of people around here are scared to try new things and do stuff. So what we did was we said, okay, we have our Monday night, we have our Tuesday night, Taco Tuesday, everybody knows that. We have our Wednesday night, which is, I think the partners do that. Their Monday night's a quiet night. So Wednesday nights I think we do like country, like the older crowd. Thursday nights, they do the live bands. Friday nights, we do the nightclub. So it's like, okay, what can we do Saturday? Well, Saturday is geared more towards family. It's geared more towards family and the older crowd, but the younger crowd can still come and have a good time, eat some good food and just kind of, we don't make it real loud, make it loud enough to where it's, something's going on, but it's not like nightclub loud. It's withstandable for all ages. And it's kind of a slow start, just like anything else, you got to stick with it. And I decided, I was like, well, let's just do 60s because 60s was a big night when we did it the first time. So I said, okay. So I put up a new flyer, put all that together. I do my own flyers and things like that. So it just was like, let's do something different for the older crowd, which gives us something different every night of the week that we're open. And like I said, it's not just about me coming in DJing. It's about the business as a whole. I support them 110%. I back that business. I would go to bat for them any day, because they would do the same for me. So it's just all about evolving, trying to give Sierra Vista something different, something to do other than just say, okay, well, we want to go out to eat. We would like to hear some music, but we don't know where to go, this and that. So more of the older crowd. And the first, like I said, the first time that we did it, the older crowd, a lot of people came up and was like, that was amazing. You didn't play one bad song. They were like, how do you know all the 60s music? This and
like that. Beatles, Stones, Motown.
Beatles, Stones, Motown. I mean, Chevy Checker, just everything like that. I mean, anything from the 60s. I mean, even if somebody come up and ask me for something, I didn't have it. I try to get it, download it, and play it. But majority of things they asked for, I had. I mean, because when you work on it, that's another thing. When you work on a cruise ship, you got to be very versatile.
Yeah.
Very versatile. I mean, there was nights I would do 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, new stuff. I mean, all kind of different stuff. And that's kind of what sparked the idea. I think I showed Marco the video when I was DJing the 60s night, and his mouth hit the floor. He could not believe it because I was in the Grand Foyer and there was 3 decks. There's people everywhere. People in front of me dancing. I'm playing 60s. Man, I'm videotaping. The captain's actually standing behind me. The captain, he was real cool. And I'm videotaping it. And Marco seen that. He goes, that was 60s? I said, yes. He's like, okay, yeah, let's do it.
And that was when? When did you do your first one at Mandalay?
About a month ago, a little over a month ago. But I think part of the problem was us trying to keep switching it up.
Now you're committed to the 60s.
Now we're committed to the 60s on Saturdays. That way, it's simple. It's 60s. Now, if it's towards the end of the night, I might throw a few 70s or something in there. But it mainly will be 60s and Motown. That type of feel. You know what I mean? The kind of jukebox thing.
Tell me about your equipment. What do you like to use, and how does that evolve as technology?
I still use turntables. I still use 1200s, Technique 1200s, and a Range 57 mixer. Basically, how that works is it still works with Serato. So my mixer has the Serato interface built into it. So I just plug it in and plug it into my computer. So which allows me to play anything on my computer on my records. Because they're real records, but it's real vinyl. But they're what they call simulator records. So they set off a tone that goes through the needle, which does some computer stuff. I don't know. But it allows me to play. I can sit here and record what we're saying and scratch it, do all kind of crazy stuff. Yeah. But usually on the 60s night, though, sometimes I use what they call an all-in-one controller. And I'm one of those DJs, I hate controllers. But for that type of night, it's just like, it's an easy kind of a night. There's no need to bring out the turntables and all the crazy stuff because I'm not doing anything crazy. But like tonight I'll be at JR's and I'm going to use my turntables and stuff like that. So the technology it evolves very fast. You have to keep up. It's hard to keep up as a DJ because it's DJing, even if it's a hobby or a career, it's expensive. It's an expensive hobby.
It's nicer these days being able to just store it on software, not to lug a bunch of records around.
I came from that era of carrying records, and I tell you, I remember carrying crates that weighed more than I did, and I don't miss that. The only downfall that I do miss, the only thing I miss about it is it separated all the DJs. There wasn't 5,000 DJs. There was 50 DJs.
Yeah, right. And how do you stand when there's that many DJs now? What do you do to stand apart and get out there?
Part of what helps me, is I've been around. I've been DJing over 15 years, so I've been around. So I know the ins and outs of the game. I'm not scared to try something new, where some DJs will. You can't be a genre-specific DJ. You won't make it. Like, my main genre is R&B, hip-hop, that type of stuff. But I know I have to play dance, top 40, EDM, a little bit of rock, a little 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. You got to be able to dabble in all of it. Because if you can't, especially in a town like this is so diverse, you won't be able to make it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. You have to be able to set yourself apart. But it's more like I built a name on my promotion and things like that, and built my name around here. It was hard at first. Honestly, it was very hard because I was so used to back in the Midwest. Any city I went to, I was known. It was easy. I'll be on my way to Cincinnati and get to Cincinnati and call somebody on the phone like, hey, I need a place to stay. Boom, I'm taken care of. Where around here it's a little more different. You gotta work it. It's like starting all over again. But I use the knowledge that I had and my experience to further myself. And not only do I just do it for me, I help other DJs. Like, that's one thing I'm really key on, is helping other DJs. Like, DJ Crossfades is one of my proteges almost, and he's very talented, and I work very closely with him to help him build up his career. And I actually just helped him get a gig on a cruise ship, so he'll be leaving soon. So when I see a DJ has that drive and determination, I'll help them. You know what I mean? Because it's hard. It's a hard game to be in. Like you said, the technology, you have to keep setting yourself apart. Like, I do the video blogging, I'm doing T-shirts, I'm branding on everything that I can. And you have to keep branding. And I'm always thinking of something. If I see something, I'm going, how can I put my logo on that? And how would it benefit?
And someone helped you along the way. It's kind of a fraternity. You guys look out for each other.
My mentor back home, DJ LP, he helped me a lot. He helped me a lot to see things. And the greatest piece of advice he ever gave me that I used to say, and I tell every DJ, because I used to say, oh, I need this, I need to get this, I need that. He said, tell me, you don't need that. It ain't about what you got. It's how you use what you got.
Yeah.
And when I learned that and I grasped that concept, I'm like, okay, it may take you a few extra steps to do something, but you got the tools to do it. It's all, if you can imagine, you can do it. But it's just, you have to evolve. You have to stay on top of the new technology, even if you don't like it. You have to know what's going on in the industry. But 95% of the DJs, if not 90 to 95% of the DJs, I guarantee if you ask them, especially ones that are making good money, what they do more than just DJ. You have to own a business, own a nightclub, or something of some sort, because with DJing being so many DJs now, it's so much more up and down, because everybody's like, well, this new guy, I want to try this new guy out, where a lot of the clubs are pretty loyal to us around here. They respect us, they take good care of us, and I can't ask for much more than that.
Well, what's a website I can tell people about? Are you on Facebook? What are you?
I'm everywhere. www.jtorcher.com. That's my main website, and it'll take you everywhere. But Facebook, everything is basically Jtorcher. So my Twitter is at Jtorcher. My Facebook fan page is Jtorcher. Instagram, Jtorcher. Snapchat. Now my YouTube though is DJ Jtorcher, so that's a little different. But
when people hear it, do they think Tourtu?
They do. Some people do. Interesting story. On the cruise ship, they made me change my name.
They thought it was just too hardcore or something?
They said it doesn't feel right with the cruise director saying on stage they don't want to scare the guests. Funny thing was, it's on my laptop. I have a skin on my laptop that says my name, Brightest Day. And they would put together, because they were calling me, we were using DJ JT. All right, whatever. I didn't like it. I'm like, I built a brand. I have over 10,000 Twitter followers. I built a brand on my name. It's you build a brand, you're like, I don't want to steer away from that just for this little time when I'm branding and everything I got says this, says that. But so it was funny because I would have guests come up to me and they would read my laptop and they would go, oh, that's what the JT stands for. I'm like, yeah. you know, and they were like, why don't you just let you use that? That's cool. I said, they think it's going to scare the guests. And they're like, no, that's cool. They're like, well, it's because they probably think, like you said, torture as in TOUCH that way. Yeah, so it's kind of funny, but it came in a very weird way, but it stuck. And
it's memorable. I mean, it's
it actually came. I used to street race. It came from street racing. That's where it came from. And, you know, and one of my best friends gave me that name. And well, he kind of put it together one day, and I was trying to figure out a DJ name at that time. And I was like, Jtorcher. Put it together, had a nice little ring to it. And I said, okay, I'll roll with it. And then it stuck, and I'm like, oh, well, I'm stuck with it now. Yeah, you know.
So you're at the Mandalay Saturdays 7 to 10.
Yes, every Saturday 7 to 10 for 60s night. But I also do Fridays over there. We rotate Fridays in. Yeah, there's me, there's DJ Roach, there's DJ Ron C, and we pretty much do a rotation. You know, so every other week it's somebody different. It might be a couple of us, and you might see all of us at the same time. You know, I like to try to make it where all of us DJ on one night at the same time. It's fun. I mean, that's what DJing is about. You know, it's 3 and 4 people going back and forth all night. I remember coming up with that, and that's just the best thing in the world, man. You go back and forth, and just have a good time.
You can also see at JR's, you said?
Yeah. I'm starting to do things over JR's. Lee's starting to work pretty close with me, and I'm trying to help him out, build his business up. The downfall to Sierra Vista is a lot of the DJs are military, so
come and go a lot.
Come and go. But I'm here. I'm not military, so yeah. So I'm pretty much anywhere anybody calls me to go. You know, that makes sense. But Mandalay is my first priority.
Cool.
That is my home base.
You know? Well, I want to help spread the word, so we're gonna get an article out there.
I appreciate it.
Cool, man. Well, thanks for coming in.
Thank you, man.
It's really good to meet you.
Good to meet you too.
Glad